Welcome back to the deep dive. You're here because you're curious, maybe feeling swamped by all the info out there. And yeah, our job is to cut through that noise for you.
Get you the sharpest insights fast.
Exactly. And today we're digging into something I think almost every gamer feels at some point.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
You're deep in a game, hours in, totally immersed. The music hits just right. The controls feel perfect. The story lands.
Ah, yes. The moment.
Right. And you just stop and think, hang on. How did they make this? How did they engineer this feeling?
Feels like magic sometimes, doesn't it? And the immediate next thought is usually, well, I could never do that.
That's it.
Yeah.
We assume it's for massive studios, coding geniuses.
Yeah.
But the sources we looked at today, they're pushing back. Hard.
Mm-hmm. They make this really interesting argument. Every single gamer should just try to make a game, at least once.
No, because they'll suddenly become a pro developer.
Not at all. It's about something else. The sources call it the creator's shift.
The creator's shift.
Okay. Yeah. And the whole point of this deep dive, our mission today, is to explore why making that shift going from just playing games to trying to build one fundamentally changes how you see every game after that. Permanently.
Okay, let's unpack that. A creator's shift.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a pretty big mental leap. What's the first thing that clicks when you cross that line from player to maybe architect?
I think the biggest immediate thing is the demystification. You suddenly realize those amazing games, the ones that feel like untouchable masterpieces.
Yeah.
They weren't just zapped into existence. They were built by people who probably started out just as curious, maybe confused as you are, passionate learners, basically.
So the wizards behind the curtain are just people who learned the trick.
Pretty much. People who banged their heads against problems, looked stuff up online, tried things that didn't work. It makes the whole thing feel less like an impossible art and more like a craft you can learn.
Okay, but does knowing how the sausage is made kind of ruin the taste? If you see all the code and the messy bits, does it kill the magic of playing?
See, that's the fascinating part. The sources argue pretty strongly that it's the opposite. It doesn't kill the magic, it deepens your appreciation for it.
How so?
Because making a game, even a tiny one, gives you the why behind everything.
Yeah.
As a player, you feel the result. Oh, this jump feels good.
Right, or this enemy is annoying.
Exactly. But as a creator, you start to understand the cause. Why does that jump feel good? What decisions led to that? And crucially, what trade-offs were involved?
Trade-offs. Give me an example. What kind of trade-off are we talking about?
Okay, let's stick with the jump in a platformer. Super simple, right?
Seems simple.
As a player, it's just good or bad, floaty or tight. But when you try to code it, oh man, you realize feel is this delicate dance between like a dozen physics variables.
Like what?
Gravity strength, jump impulse, how much control the player has in the air, friction, maybe even stuff like coyote time, letting you jump just after you've run off a ledge.
Coyote time. Right.
Yeah, and you might try realistic gravity first, and it feels awful, sluggish, frustrating. So you start tweaking.
So the developer isn't just copying reality, they're crafting an experience. They're aiming for fun physics, not real physics.
Precisely. They're bending the rules of the universe they're building to serve the player. You realize, oh, Mario's jump is kind of floaty and forgiving on purpose because it lets you make those midair corrections. It feels good.
Whereas a game like, say, Dark Souls might have jumps that feel heavy, committed.
Exactly, because that reinforces its core ideas. Weight, consequence, commitment to your actions. Just fiddling with jump code teaches you about the game's entire philosophy. It's wild.
And that applies to more than just movement, I assume. Like sound design. You mentioned that moment the music swells.
Totally. Why does the music kick in right then? As a player, it just feels epic. As a creator, you know someone somewhere set up a trigger.
A trigger.
Yeah, like a little piece of logic. If player health 20% anti-Eisen combat true, then play intense music. Or if last enemy defeated, then play victory sting.
Okay, so you're not just hearing the music, you're almost seeing the code behind the cue.
You start understanding the underlying logic, the rule set the developers created. It's like seeing the Matrix a little bit.
That's a huge shift. You go from being like subject to the game's laws to understanding who wrote the laws and why.
And that's the moment, I think, where the intimidation factor starts to crumble.
Right, because people stop before they even start. They imagine this massive, sheer cliff face of technical skill.
Exactly. I'm not a programmer. I don't have a powerful PC. I didn't go to school for this. All that stuff.
The usual assumptions. You need the fancy gear, the budget, years of coding chops just to make a character walk across the screen.
And the sources we read just slam dunk on that idea. They say, look, the barriers to entry, they are lower now than they have ever been in the history of making games.
Okay, lower how?
You don't need to be an expert coder to make something simple. You just need curiosity and access.
Access to what? Because, yeah, 20 years ago, making a game was much harder.
Access to the tools and the community. Specifically, tools like Unity or Godot get mentioned a lot. These engines are powerful, sure, but they've also put a ton of effort into being beginner-friendly.
How so?
Things like visual scripting are huge. Instead of writing lines and lines of C# or C++ Bale, you can, connect nodes, logic blocks. It looks more like a flowchart.
So you're designing the logic visually instead of typing it all out.
Yeah, for a lot of basic stuff, absolutely. It lowers that initial hurdle significantly. And then there's the community aspect.
Meaning tutorials and forums.
Oh, yeah, an ocean of them. Free tutorials on YouTube, documentation, forums packed with people who've hit the same roadblocks you're hitting. You're not learning in a vacuum. You can literally find a 5-minute video showing you exactly how to make your character move forward when you press W.
That immediate feedback loop.
Mm-hmm. And that leads right into what the sources called that pure magic moment.
Right. The first time it works.
It really is like magic. You've maybe spent an hour, maybe less, dragging shapes around, connecting a few nodes, or typing 10 lines of code you barely understand, and then you hit play. And the thing, it moves. Your character responds to your keyboard. It jumps when you press space, that little flicker of life that you created. It's addictive.
It proves it's not some unknowable dark art. It's just logic, patience,
Yeah.
step-by-step effort.
Exactly. It proves it's achievable by you.
And that feeling sticks with you, they argue.
Totally. It's that little dopamine hit of, I made a thing happen. It suddenly reframes the entire giant, intimidating games industry into something you can actually participate in, even in a tiny way.
Okay, so that's the initial spark. But the sources seem to suggest the real payoff isn't just that first aha moment.
Yeah.
It's the skills you build, through the struggle.
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting. Beyond just appreciating games more, making even a super simple game forces you to develop some serious real-world skills.
Was what? Patience, I bet.
Oh, buckets of patience. Seriously. Spending 2 hours figuring out why your character clips through the floor. That teaches you patience like nothing else. But it's more than that. It's systematic problem solving.
How do you mean?
You can't just randomly change things and hope it works. Well, you can, but it's inefficient. You learn to debug.
Debugging, right.
Which is really just methodical deduction. Okay, it works here, but not there. What changed? Let me isolate this variable. Let me test this one thing. It's pure logic under pressure.
And that skill breaking down a problem, isolating variables, testing hypotheses, that's useful everywhere.
Everywhere. Business, science, engineering, even just fixing something around the house. It's the ability to face a complex, broken system without panicking and figure it out step by step.
The sources also mentioned confidence.
Yeah.
Which seems maybe counterintuitive if you're failing a lot.
Yeah, but it's not the confidence of, I'm a genius game developer. It's the confidence that comes from tackling something abstract and confusing, something that felt impossible, and wrestling it into existence.
The confidence in your ability to learn and overcome.
Exactly. It's seeing an idea in your head, breaking it down, and making it real, even if it's clunky.
Yeah.
That process itself builds a kind of resilience. You start thinking, okay, I don't know how to do that yet. Big difference.
Let's circle back to appreciation, though. Does knowing how much work went into, say, a walk animation make you hypercritical?
Right.
Or more forgiving?
I think it makes you more discerning, less likely to just dismiss something as good or bad. You start seeing the artistry in the details.
How so?
You see a really nice lighting effect, and instead of just thinking, oh, pretty, you might think, wow, someone had to figure out the shaders for that, optimize it so it runs well, make it fit the art style.
Did you see the choices,
Yeah.
the constraints?
Yes. You appreciate the craft involved in making something seamless. You understand that every tiny element, every sound effect, every menu click, every bit of UI was likely debated, iterated on, and implemented by someone facing technical challenges.
It's like appreciating a complex dish more once you've tried cooking yourself, even if you just burn the toast.
That's a great analogy. You recognize the skill involved, even in things that seem simple on the surface. It deepens your connection to the medium.
Okay, but what if your first attempt is genuinely bad? Like, it's buggy, it looks terrible, it's barely functional. Is the value still there? That fear of making junk must stop a lot of people.
And the sources are really clear, almost insistent on this point. Your first game doesn't matter. The product itself is not the goal.
The process is the goal.
Exactly. It can be tiny, it can be broken, it can be weird. The value, the joy comes from the act of creation itself, the fact that it exists because you had an idea and you put in the effort. Forget perfection. Just finish something.
That feels liberating, like permission to fail almost.
It totally is. It takes all the pressure off. And there's this great metaphor one source used about peeking behind the curtain.
Oh,
As a player, you're in the audience watching the magic show on stage. Impressed, maybe mystified, but when you try to make a game, even a simple one, you get to peek backstage. You see the ropes, the lights, the stagehands. You see how the trick is done. And crucially, you realize
right.
that you can step onto that stage yourself. Maybe not as the star performer right away, but you can get up there and start building something whenever you want. The stage isn't closed off.
Wow, that really reframes it from this impenetrable fortress to an open workshop.
Precisely.
So bringing it all together for the listener right now, what's the takeaway?
It really boils down to that core challenge from the sources. If you love games, if you're a gamer, try it. Try making one thing.
Just one.
Just one. A tiny interactive sketch, a simple mechanic, modify an existing game even. Embrace that creator's shift. Because the promise is, it will genuinely be one of the most rewarding things you do for your brain and for your appreciation of the medium.
Because understanding how the magic works doesn't spoil it.
It makes it real,
Yeah.
tangible, more impressive, honestly.
Yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
About what it really means to know something you love.
Mm-hmm. When you understand how it's built, whether it's a game, a movie, a song, whatever, you unlock a whole new level of connection. Maybe start thinking about that. What would it actually feel like to create the kind of thing you love the most?
A fantastic thought to leave things on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Seriously, consider it go make something.